Affordable, fast Japanese cars are dying, okay? You've got the GTR, which is like $115,000. The NSX came out at $157,000, and while the BRZ came out at $30,000, it was just a little bit slower. The RCF Sport, $55,000. And while there are still a few companies out there that hit the niche market that many of us love, which is practically solely, exclusively meant for the four-door, all-wheel drive, turbo, four-cylinder Subaru, the only ones that a lot of us remember from our childhood would be the other half of that battle. It's like what we really, really wanted, but now it's kind of died, and it makes me sad. But that doesn't mean it doesn't exist in the used Facebook marketplaces of the world. We just gotta trust the 19-year-old Jimmy with the manual boost controller and the 160,000-mile engine that just happens to be inside of it for $13,000. I'm Alex at FI on Instagram, and today we're gonna be talking about one of the most influential Japanese tuner sports cars, pretty much like the car of Japanese tuner cars, like the car that made United States say, wow, that's a cool car, until it didn't update itself fast enough and then it just died out. A car that set the stage for anyone that had right around $13,000 in 2013 and could take out a loan with a cosigner, because that's just what you had to do if you wanted to pay to play. A car that was known as the car to buy if you wanted to build something that you could actually strap game stock, like stock to, and go to the moon, because these cars were like 1,400 horsepower if you wanted them to be. Ladies and gentlemen, today we're gonna be talking about you wanting to own a Mitsubishi Evo 8. Welcome to Fitment Industries. We started a long time ago when I had a weirder hair and we were smushed in a tiny little shop because it was just Mario and I trying to help people figure out what wheels fit their car with wheels, tires, and suspension.
Hence the slogan.
Wheels, tires, suspension. FitmentIndustries.com, you know what I'm saying? Now we've got a huge gallery of cars where you can see exactly what fits on your car if you are looking to pick up a set of wheels and tires. So if you haven't yet, go check out the gallery. It's at FitmentIndustries.com/gallery. That'd be pretty cool too. And if you're looking for wheel, tire packages or suspension stuff, be sure to check us out over there as well. We ship to the lower 48 states. The Mitsubishi Lancer Evolution is a name that almost everyone should know by now, but if you haven't, it was a sports sedan based on the Lancer platform manufactured by Mitsubishi Motors for over 24 years. It was a pretty long time, and with 10 official variants to date, and all using the same recipe of a turbocharged four-cylinder with a gnarly all-wheel drive system for the most part. That was also turboed. Did I say turboed? It was turboed. The Evo would become one of the pinnacle performance sedans to ever come out of Japan, and it was an insanely fun car, all right? It's like the best thing that you could ever see come out of Japan. It's like the tick-tock, the talk-tick is better than drugs, Jeremy. Is that how they do it? Gels is nodding his head. I feel bad for anybody that has to listen to me talk while I go through this. The first initial groups of the Mitsubishi Evo up to the 5th version were officially approved models for the World Rally Championship Group A class and the SCCA Pro Rally Championship. Unfortunately, the remaining versions never met the homologation standards, okay, or requirements, but Mitsubishi kept to producing them because the demand of the car far exceeded that of just being a car that they needed to get into rally. And back in the day, Mitsubishi was huge in the rally game. They were one of the most successful car companies in rally sport and SCCA. It actually bridged a lot of the competition that you now know and love between Subaru, Audi, Mitsubishi, and even other companies like Lotus and Porsche. And because these cars evolved faster than the Porygon, and if you had the secret card recipe, the world began to take notice that Mitsubishi was really hitting the rally stage strong with a new recipe for success, and the demand for that car came along with it, but not necessarily for the back roads and the jumps and all that sort of crazy stuff, for people that just wanted to have a car to drive around. Great import markets pushed the Evolution series to eventually be offered through a limited type approval in the UK and in other European markets right around 1998. And while that continued to kind of seep out past Japan, finally after a couple 2-3 years, during the jump from the 7th to the 8th generation, they made a good old jump into the good old United States, mostly because Subaru did it and it worked really well for them. This is one of those things where Mitsubishi wasn't the first one to the game, especially in the United States, and Mitsubishi saw a huge opportunity to jump in and try and give it a little bit of competition, and a lot of people wanted this car. So in 2003, it showed up on our doorstep. 17-inch NK wheels, Brembo brakes, firm suspension, and the classic 5-speed manual gearbox with right around 270 horsepower. And right out of the gate, it did really, really well, all right? It was 270 horsepower, which back then was a good enough chunk to boot, and out of a 4-door sedan, it was fun. And it did so well that by 2005, Mitsubishi began to offer the vehicle in multiple trim options, including the RS, SL, and the MR. and a bunch of other ones if you really want to get into like the specific special edition versions, but for the most part, it was just trims because they started making money. And the car was packed in tech. It had slick response Bilstein shocks. It had an aluminum roof for weight reduction, all right? Updates to the Super AY6 traction control and a more response all-wheel drive brain, all right? It made this thing really smart for the time. And while it did have a ton of snuff, the moment it did hit the States, it hit consumer competition with the good old WRX, and right after that, the STI. Subaru did not wait any time to give it good old competition. And even though the cars looked identical to the one from Japan, the US spec Mitsubishi Evo was a little bit detuned. It was a little bit stripped down, and it was just a little bit less free to play. All right? It made competition extremely difficult for the brand, but it still did an excellent job against the STI in many ways, and for many people, it still beat it out of its own segment. The car itself had a massive image that was by and large completely validated, because guess what? When your car's in a video game, you automatically win. Gran Turismo spurred the car's interest in the younger enthusiasts. Paul Walker spurred the interest in the young drivers that could actually take out a loan on one of these, and rallying allowed the car to be respected by the people that not just showed their car, but actually drove the living piss out of their car. So they had all the people loving the car that needed to love the car. And it just worked well for a recipe of people wanting to buy these things. But as fast as the car actually popped up to win the hearts and minds of enthusiasts everywhere, it pretty much just disappeared into the abyss of sport cars and just left. So we're done talking about the history of this car because I don't want to make myself sad. The car that everyone loves until they realize that the interior is literally what you'd expect from a base model Lancer, except worse in every way. It just happens to have a big ass turbo attached to it, so it makes it a lot of fun when you're actually in turbo. Okay, so you want to own a Mitsubishi Evo 8, all right? Well, set down your $5 oil tray that you're gonna slide underneath that bad boy when you get it in your garage, and grab your favorite icy hot patches because we're gonna talk about what it's like to actually own one of these rocket ships, because by and large, that is all this car is a rocket ship. And not like a cool Tesla rocket ship, it's like a NASA V2 rocket ship, like the one that we're kind of sure you're gonna get up there, but there might be some problems along the way. Owning a Mitsubishi Evo 8 is like the upgraded version of one of those EG hatches with the laptop in the passenger seat. Like, it's literally going to be a bit of a rough ride, but holy for those 3 seconds before either something breaks or you actually take flight, it is an absolute blast. And the platform that the Evo provides an automotive enthusiast, someone like you and someone like me, is unlike anything else really out there in the market because of the amount of raw, opportunistic potential of power. And the platform takes it so well. Evo 8s do have a couple 2-3 things that you're gonna wanna know before you pick one up, and that list goes a little bit like this. Contrary to popular belief, and something that may actually confuse a lot of people, is that Evo 8s are actually quite reliable with minimal modifications. Their biggest pain point can be the garage scientist that never learned how to properly tune a car and is now trying to sell you a deal for a 120,000 mile Evo for $12,000, and it's got rust on the fender and you're not really sure what's going on with the car because it's a little slanty, probably got hit one time. Don't, okay? Be careful with that. But buyer's guides around Evo 8s will actually have you just naturally searching for engine compartments, not to see if something was broken, but to see if anything had been taken off and on. A lot of times on the Evo 8 platform, people are swapping parts quite often, and especially when you get down to bone stock one these days, the chances that they were bone stock their entire life is pretty small. Taking a look at the turbo space to see if you can identify that someone likely slapped a bigger one on there earlier in its career, or you can actually just use a VIN lookup to see if any major maintenance items were done or missed with a simple phone call to Mitsubishi. These are some of the 2 biggest things that you can do because these cars are platforms where people like to build on them. And if you're trying to buy one stock or you're trying to buy one at a budget, it's probably gonna bite you in the ass without doing your research. Some other common items is if you have the AYC, that the pump can get clogged from time to time, and you can either get a new part or you can hit it with a hammer. That's what the forums say. Use a rubber hammer to be safe though, you know what I'm saying? Water can get in through the wheel arch splash guard, can cause some interesting issues because of its closest to the fuse box and the passenger wheel well, which can cause your lights to stay on. And there's a couple things around the old electrical system that you're gonna need to be a little bit wary of, that you're gonna wanna take a look at. But the biggest thing is, and will probably always be with this platform, most specifically, will be poorly modified Evos. If you are jumping into this platform, it is a fantastic platform to learn. And there's a huge community of people that love love modifying these cars, and the platform itself can do it very well. And Mitsubishi did a great job. I would argue all the way up to its last generation. And with that being said, you can find a relatively unmodified one without fender rust, but it's gonna be a little bit more expensive. If you do find one though, you're gonna have one hell of a time. These cars look insane with practically any type of build as well. Go out to our gallery and you'll find people like Wanderfoo's function setup on 9.5 wide Volk TE37s. You see 4G63 Mafia's stance setup on airlift performance suspension and a little bit of camber, a little bit of showy show, okay? And you can even see people running staggered static setups like Tonchito's 17 by 12 and 17 by 12.5 wide body with Bilstein coilovers and a setup that looks like it would eat a child. These cars can do anything from narrow body to wide body to function to drag to autocross to HPD to everything in between. The platform does it extremely well. Now, the platform itself can have a little bit of turbo lag, and there are a couple things that you're gonna wanna play around with to keep the power on the right point. But the point is that the car can and does do it all. It can be built like a train if you want it to be. It can sound insane if you want it to. It can be a $100,000 show car if that's what you want, but it will take time, patience, and care. 4G63, they carry like a community and passion like no other, and the intricacies of that motor need to be respected or you'll just blow it up, and most people in this community, they're more than likely just gonna laugh at you. It is one of those communities that you truly need to take your time, respect where a lot of people have spent time on it in the past, and listen instead of speak, at least for the first couple times that you're jumping into the forums. Additionally, the Evo 8 isn't as upscaled as you think. Sit inside and you'll quickly find why many people immediately start swapping out seats, steering wheels, plastics, door cards, audio, and more. Because on the Evo 8 and a lot of those earlier generation Evos, Mitsubishi had one purpose, and that was to make a race car, all right? That was the only reason that they went out and made the Evolution, okay? And that entire lineage up until the 9 and 10, they really didn't care too much about the interiors, even though they tried to. They did pretty damn well with making it look like it was actually just a garage build. Evo 8s will always have a special place in our heart, and it's likely one of those cars that in 20 years will be worth like $100,000 because of what it stood for here in the States. It was the first car from Mitsubishi to be imported into the United States as a rally-inspired race car that you could buy from a dealership that was known for building things with a wee bit of lag, a drop of insanity, and just like a touch of technology. It's what made the Evo so intoxicating to drive. And for me, the Evo 8 did that perfectly. No matter what you do, no matter what you put on it, no matter what wheel and tires, suspension that you throw on this car, there will always be somebody while you're driving that's gonna break their neck when they see an Evo 8 rolling down the road. But what do you think? Let us know in the comment section below, and if you're looking for what others have done to their Evo, take a look over at our gallery at fitmentindustries.com/gallery, and if you're looking for wheels and tire packages and suspension for your newly acquired Evo 8, be sure to check us out over at fitmentindustries.com. We've got everything from your Volk TE37s to your Works to your Rotiforms to everything in between, even our brand new wheel brand, Artisa Art-Formed wheels that we're very excited about. You can check that out as well. I'm Alex from Fitment Industries, and we will see you later. Peace.